So it's a very common thing, right? We talk about um, cryptocurrencies a lot, but there are a lot of factors where we don't have the right knowledge. We follow the market noise because, let's be honest, there are a lot of people talking about it. But just to understand, uh, is it safer asset class? Is it riskier asset class? Is it something which I would invest into? Is it something which I would speculate into? And I see a lot of people here who have not speculated. I think this number goes up and down as the polling increases. So that's really good to see right here. And the poll continues. Right now, I see 37% have 33% has speculated or invested in cryptos, but there's a very large mass, say around 60-70% people who have not. And again, that depends on the number of the crowd. But all I'm trying to do is to understand that how much you know about cryptos, and there can be several reasons. So before we move on to the crypto, let's understand what's going on in the current market right now, because that is something which we need to know, that what is the current market like. Cryptos came down just around the new year's and we saw it coming down. With the ongoing upside trajectory which we have seen in the inflation, because what is going on right now with US inflation has been going on higher. And we see at this point of time that cryptocurrencies, statistically, if we see the number wise, if we see the statistics, cryptocurrencies do not connect to inflation at all. Like there is no numbers which tells us that cryptos is a safe hedge towards inflation. But what we have seen at this moment, for example, Ethereum index was very closely connected to the inflation index of US. So we saw while the inflation grew up, we saw Ethereum prices also, the Ethereum index also started going higher, right? So current market, when we see cryptos went down, they reached to a support level and then they recovered. Now, to begin this session, first of all, we need to understand is that whatever we are going to talk about, whatever outlook or stocks we are going to talk about, it is subjected to a lot of risk. So it's not necessary that whatever we talk about is going to happen or is there a prediction. But the whole point is we need to understand that there is always an estimate. So people like us, or you for that matter, you would read, do a lot of information, do a lot of research, understand the supports and resistances of a crypto, and then reach to a conclusion that, okay, you know what, this is good to buy, this is the level at which I should be entering, this is the level I should be exiting. But the point over here is we need to understand that the markets are really, really volatile. Every time you hear about a fund manager or if you hear about a mutual fund, there is a disclaimer which comes always that mutual fund investment subject to market risk, please should offer document carefully before you invest, right? With that speed. So we have to make sure that we steer the ship of our investments, and whichever asset class it is, it will always have risk, and particularly crypto. So today we are going to talk about NFTs, we are going to talk about Web 3.0, that is something which has been emerging, and we are going to talk about which are the cryptos to look at, which are the NFT stocks you can look at. But please ensure that you consult your risk expert or risk manager before you get into any kind of investments. Now, let's try to understand where it all started from. Blockchain was the reason of everything. So, blockchain technology, when we talk about blockchain, it is something which is always discussed a lot. Blockchain is a file that is constantly growing. All transactions are recorded permanently and uses very advanced cryptography to ensure. Now, let's for once be away from the terminology, right? Because that is something which always gets stuck, right? It's always a technology which is um, it's always terminology which is always keeping us from knowing what actually it is. We talk about words like decentralized ledger, we talk about stuff like definance and decentralized finance, but we need to understand what blockchain actually it is, because this is going to frame your entire mindset. A lot of you feel that blockchain and Bitcoin are the same thing, which is not. Because when we understand what blockchain actually is, it's like recording information in a way that it is impossible to change. right? And I tried to explain this to my 5-year-old nephew, and he did understand. How I explain it to him is, let's say if you like to trade, and when I say trade, it doesn't mean buying and selling. It means you like to buy and sell goods. Like, let's try to make this a little more interactive. I know we used to do a lot of seminars, but now we are stuck at webinars due to the COVID cases. But tell me, how many of you use um, Dubizzle or any other platform to sell products? Like if you use Dubizzle or if you use any other website, name the website you use to sell products. Like when I say sell products, that means if you want to sell your phone, sell your PC, sell your computer, sell your furniture, let's say, which is the site you use. You can use your chat options to write it. Let's try to make this more interactive, friends. So obviously, I see a lot of answers coming in. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Right. Okay, a lot of people surprisingly use Dubizzle. I wouldn't be surprised that is one of the website, but any other website to sell. Like in US, I know a lot of people would switch to eBay. What is your website? Go ahead. Facebook groups. Okay, very intelligent. Facebook groups. Yes, there are a lot of Facebook groups emerging now. So Dubizzle Facebook groups. Okay, there's luxury closet. Dubizzle, a lot of Dubizzle and Facebooks, right? So you have this platform through which you connect. Now, imagine you trade Facebook group, WhatsApp groups, Dubizzle, right? There's always this one medium, right? Now, imagine you want to trade with your friend or with anyone, but you don't have to use any of these websites. There is a simple way that you directly deal. There is no mediate, there is no intermediary, there is no middleman. You directly deal with the buyer and you do the trade, and it is secure and it is verified. Right? A lot of people would use eBay. Why people would use eBay? Now Dubizzle is still one of those platforms where you put your stuff and you still take a chance. You don't know whether the user is verified or not, right? But there are options. But imagine something like eBay. Why people use eBay? They use eBay because there is a certain amount of verification, a security that the buyer on the other side is going to get his goods right, and then on the other side seller will get a payment and there will be a verification, right? So that's why eBay exists. Imagine doing this trade without eBay, with no intermediary involved. So basically blockchain is capable of creating a system where there is this huge network of buyers and sellers, or senders and receivers, I should say, and there is no intermediary involved, right? So if you buy anything, those records, those everything about the contents, it gets recorded, and it's impossible to change it. It's impossible to manipulate it because it is a sort of decentralized ledger. Now, when I say decentralized ledger at this moment, that means that one specific authority does not control. There are multiple people on the platform on this particular ledger which are doing buying and selling, and it gets updated automatically. This is what the power of blockchain is, right? And blockchain is used, even now it is used in a lot of, so just take it in a similar way, that if you have to trade in products, trade in commodities, you will not need a broker. If you need a loan, you will not need a bank. You can directly connect to the person who wants to lend, and you on the other side can borrow at much effective rates. This is what blockchain brings you to, because blockchain lays down the foundation for decentralized finance. So this is what the decentralized finance will also be. So blockchain is the technology, and you know that there are companies like Volvo, Louis Vuitton, Kodak, Telegram. These are already using blockchain in their products. Louis Vuitton uses it to avoid counterfeit of their raw material. So there is no counterfeit of the product, or uh, the fraudulent products by the name of Louis Vuitton does not comes into the market. So Louis Vuitton is also using blockchain to avoid this. Like this, there are a lot of companies which are using blockchain. Now, blockchain became this technology, right? This was the most important thing to understand, that what is a blockchain technology, because this will be the basis of you understanding that why you are investing in cryptocurrencies at all. However, it is a lot different. Crypto is a very small part of the blockchain, but blockchain in itself is something which is really, really big. So a decentralized distributed ledger, and it will record all the digital assets transaction which you are going to do. Right now, coming back to the point, what is DeFi? So, in this particular session, we are going to talk about cryptocurrency outlook. But before that, we are also going to talk about what is decentralized finance. If you have any questions, keep writing over the chat, and I'll be able to answer during the session or by the end of the session. And we'll go through this always. This definition, which you see on the PowerPoint, is just for your explanation. But what I just talked about blockchain. So when we talked about decentralized finance, right? What actually it is in a very raw form. It's like the most promising and at the same time a bit problematic part of the cryptocurrency. Like this is exactly what people talk about. That this is going to be the reason why the intermediaries, the bankers or the brokers would have a meltdown, because decentralized finance means removing the middleman from it. Now, can you think at all? How many of you think, and write it over the chat, if you can share this PPT with us? Definitely, definitely. And in fact, this session is going to be recorded, so you can always visit YouTube and record this session. So do not worry about it. So when we talk about decentralized finance, tell me how many of you actually think that we can run without banks, we can run without brokers? Just a simple yes or no. Again, it's a perspective. Um, there is no right or wrong answer. It's definitely a perspective. But how many of you think that the world can run without banks? It can run without, you can still get loans without banks. You can still trade in commodities without brokers. How many of you think that? If you think that, send me a yes or no, whatever you feel. Go for it, guys. Let's try to make this more and more interactive. So while you answer this, just understand decentralized finance, it covers everything you do at a bank or a brokerage house, right? Normally, you go to a bank with, obviously not with a cryptocurrency, but let's say you go to a brokerage house or with a bank, you send money, you receive money, you borrow money, you lend it to someone, interest bearing accounts, everything. But decentralized finance do it completely without a bank or a brokerage, all these functions, and you can use cryptocurrencies for that, right? You can use crypto, you can trade crypto assets, buy and sell derivatives, options, futures, everything, and you can hold on to it like you do normally with the brokerage houses, right? So this is what, just the word decentralized or DeFi, you need to understand why it exists, right? It is expected to replace all those intermediaries which charges commission to you while they do the transaction. So yes, we can say that decentralized finance is more like capitalism at its purest. A lot of people say this is going to end the Wall Street, a lot of things, but obviously we don't go into all that. We just try to understand what decentralized finance is, and there are a lot of platforms which are providing DeFi, right? So I see here a lot of people say not possible. You cannot run without banks. A lot of you say that with the advancement of technology, eventually the middleman will be removed. And again, there's no right or wrong answer. But the whole point is, with the emerging technology, earlier without decentralized finance or blockchain, it would not be possible at all. Now, I'm not saying it is possible, but there are hopes of that happening. And that is why a lot of people are investing into decentralized finance. Do you know that their central bank is actually uh, talking about a digital dollar? Now, digital dollar is kind of, imagine you directly dealing with the central bank and not involving the commercial banks, because digital dollar is going to be as it sounds. You have dollars with you, but you don't need it from a bank. You directly have an account with the Federal Reserve, with the central bank, and you do your transactions accordingly. You don't have a paper currency at all. Digital dollar is something which is being talked about. Central bank digital dollar, CBDC, is something which is being talked a lot about. So yes, decentralized finance is both. As I said, it is problematic, but it is one of the most promising part, because decentralized finance, it uses smart contracts, and smart contracts are self-executing. Again, I'm using these words, exactly they are, but what I'm trying to tell you is uh, why decentralized finance is highlighted a lot, because there is a lot of technology. Smart contracts is something very complicated, but as I said, it is a set of programs. Earlier, human beings used to create uh, programs, and those programs used to get executed, right, and perform a function. Think about something which automatically creates a program for the execution, no human involvement at all, is what smart contracts are. So this is something which is the beginning of the decentralized finance. And again, there are a lot of ifs and buts. Anything which comes first is hyped a lot. And again, there are a lot of developments which are yet to happen. But then we are here to discuss about the future, and this is something which we have seen happening. Now, another thing comes something known as NFT. How many of you have heard about NFT? Just send me a yes or no. I'll tell you what NFT is exactly, because there are a lot of questions about what is it? Is it a platform? Is it an art form? Um, so much explosion about blockchain, but then what exactly NFT is? There are cats and dogs pictures which are being sold for millions and millions. So what exactly it is? Like, just tell me, how many of you? Okay, yes, yes, there are a lot of yeses, a lot of no's. Again, good. I see. It's very good to have a divided crowd actually. Now, NFT stands for non-fungible token, but obviously you need more than that to understand. See, just understand what a non-fungible more or less means. Non-fungible means it cannot be replaced with something else. Like, for example, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is still fungible. It's so NFT stands for non-fungible token. But when we see how NFT is different from a Bitcoin, Bitcoin is still fungible because you trade one Bitcoin for the another, right? Because let's say trade you there is one Bitcoin, you buy and sell, you have exactly the same thing. It's uh, uh, so when we talk about non-fungible, this is something which is one of a kind, something really really unique, like Mona Lisa, for example. There would be a lot of copies of Mona Lisa, but there is not going to be another. There is no another Mona Lisa, right? The original. Now, if you buy a different Mona Lisa, which is not an original, then you have a copy, right? Exactly what a non-fungible token is, something which is completely different, very unique, right? Now, the thing about NFTs are NFTs are bought and sold on a platform which is based on Ethereum blockchain. Now, Ethereum is just like Ethereum is also cryptocurrency like a Bitcoin is, right? But Ethereum's blockchain is supporting NFT. Now, this means it is storing a lot of information that make them work differently, right? And that is the reason that why Ethereum has got a lot of importance of lately, because it has become a platform for NFTs, and NFTs in itself have become a very huge market, right? Like, think about anything digital, a drawing, a music, a meme, anything which can be converted digitally, right? So that can be bought and sold or NFT platforms. Think about tweets, think about videos, think about digital arts. Anything which you can think can go digitally can be bought and sold through NFTs, and NFTs can be traded on Ethereum. Now, the point is, I have a question here, very innocent question, but yeah, we should definitely address it. Somebody asked a question, what is the point? Like, why NFTs exist? So it depends. See, if you're an artist, uh, first of all, it's really good if you're an artist. But if you're an artist, then you might be interested in NFTs because it kind of gives you a way to sell your work, right? And it can go for any price, because there are a lot of people. It gives you a wider market. So if you made if you made any painting and you made an NFT out of it and put it at the marketplace, you never know how much it might be sold for. If you come up with like this really cool digital sticker idea and you don't know what to do with it, you can easily create a meme out of it and sell it on these platforms, and you never know, if somebody likes it too much, they might as well just buy. So NFTs have this kind of a feature that it will pay you a percentage every time that NFT is sold or change hands. So for example, if you sold NFT to someone, right? And then if he sells that particular NFT to someone else, you will still get a royalty out of it. So just to make sure that your work always continues to get super popular, and of course the price increases. And if you're a buyer, now this was if you were an artist, but if you're a buyer, then obviously one of the benefits of buying the art is, uh, forget about how much you're supporting the artist, but the point is, it gives you some sort of rights, and you don't have to have the actual physical uh, asset in your house, because that is always going to increase the security risk. By having it digitally, you have the bragging rights, you have the rights what you want, and you don't have to own a physical copy of it, right? So you can be a collector, you can be a buyer, you can be a seller. And of course, as I said, that this is a very open marketplace for buying any form of digital art. So what does it mean when you own it? So when you own an NFT, think about, okay, think about you made a video. Tell me what is, which is the best. So this is a question to everyone. Um, which is your most favorite video? And this should be anything on the top of your mind. Just write it. Your most favorite video, which you love to see a lot of times. So somebody pointed out here, NFTs are not traded on Ethereum. They are traded on platforms when you pay for the NFTs in different crypto, depending on the platform. So absolutely right. They're not traded on Ethereum, but they are supported by a Ethereum network. So consider Ethereum like an internet, because a lot of NFT platforms are supported by the Ethereum. That is all I meant. Okay, so there are a lot of videos. Okay, Charlie bit my finger. Yes, platforms like OpenSea, Solana, absolutely. So imagine that video, and you buying the actually bragging rights, or you buying the actual when this video was shot. Imagine that you are the owner of this particular clip. Now it can be seen anywhere across the world on YouTube, but imagine you being the owner. So what is the point of buying art at all? Why would you buy Mona Lisa? Anybody can Google search Mona Lisa, right? But it is just the point of owning the asset. It's the point of owning that most unique thing which you have. And that is what NFTs are providing you digitally. Somebody said Dhoni hitting the winning sixer 2011 World Cup. Imagine you buying that video clip and being the owner of that. So every time somebody sees it, they might see it from YouTube, but you own that particular video. That is all it is. Now, that being said, there are few stocks. Now, from an investment point of view, how we capitalize on it, because there will always be an argument: NFTs are good, NFTs are bad, and this is something. This was introduced in 2014 as the shift towards cryptocurrency opened the door for investing in digital assets, became a very popular investment option today. Again, there is a lot of movement in NFTs. There have been a lot of ups and downs, but again, that being said, what makes different to NFTs, that it's a unique item. Now, if you don't want to directly deal with NFTs, there are a lot of companies which you can look at. Now, these are few companies. Again, guys, as I said, you look at these companies. This is not something when you see here, you go and buy immediately. Please understand, talk to your risk experts first. Understand what are your risks involved, because not necessary that today you buy and tomorrow it goes up. As I said, these are the companies which at this point of time are promising towards a decent, like, let's try to understand one by one. And first of all, I'll give you time to look at these companies, check these companies. If you want to click a picture, Anyways, there will be a recording for that. But let's say if you want to have a look at it, you can keep a check and look at these NFT stocks. So these are like very regular companies, right? Nothing extra. You might have seen these companies a lot of times. We are talking about companies like eBay. We are talking about companies like Dolphin Entertainment, and all of these companies, they exist. And again, as I said, talk to your risk experts before you invest into any of these. So eBay is one of those companies which have been kind of providing a platform for it. You look at Disney, because Disney also, so what makes NFT really, really unique is the content, right? Whether it is, so look at Disney, for example. Now, from if you look at Disney and you see how it compete with Netflix, Netflix is the sole owner for everything. Like if you see today, I have a Prime account also. I have a Netflix account also. But that being said, Disney is still giving a competition to Netflix also, right? So what we need to understand is all of these companies, what we are talking about right now, uh, they have some unique content, and that is what makes them really, really cool in 2022 to look at these. I'm going to tell you a bit description about all of these companies, right? Just look at them and see if it works. Like for example, eBay. Now, in recent years, eBay of lately they have announced that it will allow people to start selling NFTs, which means one platform. Now, why eBay was used? eBay was used to buy and sell products, right? But now eBay has announced that it will allow people to start selling NFTs. This might bring eBay actually back to relevancy because Amazon was kind of competing with eBay when it comes to as an e-commerce website, but then taking this particular route, this is something really smart by eBay. Management team of eBay is really excited, and for them, NFT industry is like doubling down. So the whole point is only currently uh, top rated sellers which are on eBay, only they will be allowed to sell NFTs. But after this rollout happens, eBay does plan to expand the NFT marketplace, right? Now, all of you must have heard about eBay a lot. Why I'm pointing it out this time? Because not only it has a certain amount of uh, business which already eBay does, but this is something which is added. And there are all of these stocks. So, for example, if you are looking at Coinbase, for example, a lot of you know Coinbase as a company which started. It is an exchange for cryptos, right? Now, even at this point of time, Coinbase, a lot of investors are inclined towards buying Coinbase stocks right now. It technically doesn't have any exposure to NFTs, but Coinbase has also announced that its NFT market will go live at some point in 2022. So why we are doing this session this particular beginning of the month is a lot of such news are expected to come. There's no official date which has been released. I repeat again, there's no official date which has been released, but again, the Coinbase has announced that NFT market will go live at some point in 2022. Now, when Coinbase platform goes live, it instantly, I feel, should become a contender for the biggest NFT market because Coinbase already has around 8 million members. Now, imagine 8 million people who are already using, they already trust Coinbase, right? So now at this point, market leaders like OpenSea has probably 1 or 2 million users, but Coinbase has already 8 million, right? And again, there are a lot more advantages. Coinbase, one of the most publicly traded crypto companies. It is traded, it is listed as a stock. So business is already very much connected with cryptocurrency, decentralized finance, blockchain. And if you see other companies like eBay, for example, eBay is not. So if you had to pick between eBay and Coinbase, obviously Coinbase you'll be more inclined towards. So again, guys, as I said, look at Shopify, for example. They have an NFT program. If you're not familiar, Shopify is something which is also an e-commerce company, right? It also helps merchants to build online stores, and then these merchants will be able to sell NFTs directly from the Shopify stores, right? Look at Funko or look at Playboy. uh, I'm sure a lot of you must have heard about Playboy magazine, but it's actually a company, and it has went public again in 2021. It is transitioning away from a publishing company. It wants to be known as a lifestyle apparel, sexual wellness company. So again, there are a lot of NFT stocks to buy. There is Disney there, and as I said, there is Funko there. The Funko makes these designs which are really unique. So all of these companies which I'm talking about right now, you can have a look at it. um, Always. So there is a question here: can we imagine 2.7 billion users over the gaming industry in the play to earn? So there is a whole different topic of gaming finance, GameFi also, gaming tokens also. So yes, there is a lot of interest over it right now. I'm just doing a touch base with the NFT, but yes, there are gaming tokens also which are a part of it. So it's a very, very vast market. And as I said, maybe it's not very mature right now. There are a lot of risk at this moment. So please be very careful when you invest into these stocks, but have a look at it. That's all I'm saying. Now comes another point when we talk about Web 3.0. Again, send me a yes or a no if you know about Web 3.0, and you will see that how it is connected to the investments. Because not only I'm explaining you these terms, but I'm also telling you which companies, as a consultant, we are telling you which companies are connected to this. So you can also do your research. And tomorrow, if you want to invest into NFTs, not necessarily that have an account, make an art and sell it, but you can look into these companies which are continuing to be NFT providers. Now, a lot of you have said no about Web 3.0. Uh, a lot of you have actually, very few of you have said yes, but a lot of you have said no about Web 3.0. So this is actually really, it's going to blow your mind, because believe it or not, Web 3.0, this is going to be the next internet revolution. Metaverse became so popular, like virtual thing, right? Now, Web 3.0, this is something which is a new buzzword. As a consultant, I always tell clients that please do not get carried away by the noise. This session is only for information purposes. Okay, whatever we are discussing about companies and stocks, this is for your information. Do not take this as a recommendation. I mean, before you buy any of these stocks or invest into any of these sectors, you have to do your thorough research before you take this risk, right? But right now, Web 3.0 is something which is a very new buzzword. It's taking over the internet world. And this is also something. So, why I explained you decentralized finance and decentralized concept, because Web 3.0 is also a decentralized web. Now, this is a third version of the internet, right? What you have been using was the second version of internet, and what internet started was the first version of internet. But now this is going to be the third version of internet, and it's going to be much more improved. Now, if you, many of you will ask about what was the second 2.0 internet web. 2.0 became very social. So let's say if you talk about Facebook and Twitter, so when internet came first, initially it was all about one AOL account, and AOL will only show you the information it was in there, right? That was the very first generation of internet. What was Web 1.0? It went on for the longer point, and then Web 2.0 happened. The era of blogs. I'm sure a lot of people in 90s would remember when the blogging started, and slowly and gradually we saw, back in years, that blogging has become a legit business, right? Now when you talk about second generation internet, talk about social connections also, social media, Facebook, WhatsApp. So a lot of people under 2.0 internet, they have been encouraged to connect with each other through social networking services, blogs, and now it has created so much data. Data is the king, right? How many of you agree with me? Data is the new gold. Everything you do, it's get recorded. Now the point is, this entire data and content, this is controlled by a very small group of tech giants. How many of you agree with me that whatever you do at this moment, if you're thinking, if you are just scrolling on internet about furniture, I recently moved on to a new place, and I started scrolling for furniture to IKEA, Homebox, God knows how many places, and you start getting these AdWords, right? So I'm sure whatever you're doing at this moment at the net, data is being recorded, and we know it. It's not that we are not aware about it, we already know it. Now, the point is this entire data and content which is generated, this is controlled by a very small group of tech giants. Which are these? Give your names, guys. Use chat options. Tell me which are the companies which are kind of controlling the data and content. Tell me. Write down the names. You know the names. You know the names. Tell me which are these companies you think are already. These are the very small group. I'm telling you, these are tech giants and they are controlling this data. Which are these companies? Okay. 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 Right. Okay. So obviously, a lot of you said Google. It's definitely not wrong. Google is we Google for everything. So I would be surprised if Google wasn't there. Facebook, yes. Facebook, Google. So a lot of you said Facebook, Google. Somebody said Apple right now. It's really good. Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google. So you're absolutely right. These are the tech giants which are controlling Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Apple. Now, this has created a lot of privacy issues, right? Investors think they have lost their freedom over their business, their financial data, because they keep. How many of you get those boxes, accept all agreements? You click on accept and you accept everything, right? So basically, you're accepting to share your data also. So social media sites, they have again implemented a lot of norms, where they kind of do the privacy thing. But again, there is a lot of controversy over free speech. Web 3.0 is kind of anticipated to help you overcome this problem because this is going to be decentralized version of the internet. So people will have control over their data, and this is the third version of internet, expected to be more transparent, coming up with massive content which will be accessible to everyone, right? And it will be decentralized. Not only few players will be able to control it. So this will be very user specific, expected to be user specific. It will also ensure data security because it's decentralized, just like what blockchain is, and ensure data security and privacy. And it will avoid the risk of internet hacking. Now, that's really important because hacking and cyber security is something which you really need to take into consideration in times like this, right? So now Web 3.0 is built on which technology? Blockchain. We know what blockchain is now. It's decentralized, distributed ledgers, right? Providing a digital record of everything. Now, blockchain is the technology behind a lot of cryptocurrencies and a lot of NFTs. So, what you need to take from this particular point is investing in blockchain perhaps may not be the worst idea. Invest into blockchain. Blockchain is the technology behind NFTs, behind Web 3.0, behind cryptocurrencies. A lot of people get inclined towards cryptocurrencies thinking blockchain, but you can actually invest into blockchain because the products, whether are there or not, but blockchain as a technology is increasing. Now, similarly, there are some stocks which you can watch from, and you can buy sell these shares. I'm going to show you the live platform also, how you can buy sell these shares. And with Web 3.0 coming into the market, you'll be able to see these kind of companies also gaining some momentum, right? And what is the reason why we are talking about uh, these companies? Because, so let's take Nvidia, for example. I'm not sure how many of you know about Nvidia, but Nvidia is on this, it's on the cutting edge of every major technological field. So, why it makes sense to look Nvidia when it comes to Web 3.0? Because Nvidia provides a lot of AI based solutions, cloud computing, deep machine learning, right? This is something which has been going on. This is something which is very emerging. And Nvidia technology is already used across a wide range of industries. Talk about telecommunications, talk about financial services, talk about gaming, talk about healthcare, like talk about any industry, Nvidia is involved. And there is a very good chance that Nvidia technology will be powering the future of Web 3.0. Their annual revenue was around $16 billion in 2021. Now, this is around 50% increase, right? Which was from 2020. Even their net incomes are high, around 50, 55%. You look at the stock right now. We're going to do the live platform and show you Nvidia in last few days. It has come down, but it has started moving up also. If you see, in 2021, Nvidia stock went up around 130%. You've seen last 5 years. Can anybody guess the percentage increase in Nvidia in last 5 years? While you guess that, Nvidia stock price increase in last 5 years. While you guess that, there's a question: what about governments? If this is decentralized, will they allow? As it means they can tap it, they can't tap it. So, isn't this the most important question all the time about cryptos? Why cryptos do not reach to the regulation point? Because something which is anonymous, something which can't be tracked, it always creates an idea that it will be used for purposes which are not right. So decentralized, again, there are major steps taken. That's why these companies are involved to find out a solution where decentralized finance and decentralized platforms can be used with proper security and anonymity, but at the same time, the verification. So how there are some buyers on eBay which are verified, right? Similarly, these kind of platforms, the DeFi platforms, will also try to find out a kind of digital signature. Like, for example, if I'm a university student, there are ways that how decentralized platforms can actually create this digital signature, which kind of verifies my identity, but still secures it, right? I know it doesn't make any sense at this moment, but this is the only answer to your question, that if DeFi has a chance against governments, the only thing against decentralized platforms is losing control. But if it is much more secure and not be manipulated, then yes, sooner or later there will be a collaboration where decentralized platforms continue to exist. That is the risk which we always face with cryptos, right? The regulation bit. Meanwhile, last 5 years, Nvidia has gone up by 1100%, right? So, and again, last 5 years we have seen cryptos and other markets also emerging. So, yeah, I mean, we look at these kind of stocks also. Um, Nvidia, as I said, it's one of those stocks. If you look, for example, Square Payment, you must have heard about. Square was this digital payment provider, right? It's again a financial services company, but now it comes by the name of Block Inc. It's changed their name. It was earlier Square, now it's Block. But what this particular company does, peer-to-peer payments, like one-on-one payments. Now they have allowed cryptocurrency also, and it's one of the most important companies you should look at when you are talking about Web 3.0, just because of the leadership. Like Jack Dorsey, who's currently handling the company, one of the most innovative founders on the Wall Street, right? Um, he was in Twitter earlier. He was had Square Payment, Twitter. He was kind of involved, but now he stepped down from Twitter as a CEO and now is focusing only on Square Payment. So when we talk about this particular company, Jack Dorsey, who was a CEO of Twitter, he also feels that there is nothing more important than cryptocurrency at this moment. You see, 2020, the revenue which Square Payment generated in 2020, as compared to 2019, it was 100% higher, right? As compared to 2019, the net income was 40%. In 2021, the stock went down almost 18-20%. But again, if you've seen last 5 years, just like Nvidia, the stock has gone up by at least 1100%, right? So as we talk about these companies, guys, the whole idea is just to divert, not basically divert, to actually draw your attention towards these other areas also, because a lot of you would invest into commodities, stocks, go long term funds, and everything. This is something which is coming in the future, and you can look into Microsoft and Intel, and as I said, Nvidia and Square, and these are already companies which are established, right? With Web 3.0 coming in, it is only going to, it might only get better for these companies because they are the major players at this point of time. And if you want to focus on less riskier ones, then I feel something as established as Microsoft, it already continues, right? Intel, already continues. So you can always look at that if you don't want to go with Nvidia's or Square if you think they're too volatile. So you can either click a picture or note it down. But as I said, that always talk to your risk experts, consultants before you invest anywhere, right? Uh, Metaverse has something which this is something which came off lately with Facebook changing its name to Metaverse. Third iteration of the web aims to put more control over web content and its users. Sorry, this is this is Web 3.0. When we talk about Metaverse, we talk about a virtual world, right? Like this is, I don't know how many of you seen this animated cartoon. It was known called as Johnny Quest, and they always used to go virtual. And this was years ago. I'm surprised that nobody even thought about that at that particular time. But when we talk about metaverse, it's like a 3D, three-dimensional network community, right? A lot of metaverse versions, when we see it, involves combining virtual and physical spaces, like shopping and other lot of company. But again, when we say this is something which is also is seen as a next generation of the internet, because it's like a virtual world where humans can interact through three-dimensional forms, and it will be again controlled by the virtual reality headsets, right? So again, when I say the benefits go to the chip makers, to the graphic makers, again companies like Nvidia, when we say, so any of those companies which are really good at making graphic chips, those can also get benefited during the metaverse. Now, coming to the topic, what we wanted to start with also was cryptocurrency. We talked a lot about cryptocurrencies back in the past. We know what a cryptocurrency is, a digital. So why I explained you decentralized finance and NFTs and Web 3.0 and blockchain, because cryptocurrencies, they are using blockchain technology. This is a decentralized form of finance. Everybody talks about Bitcoins, right? What Bitcoin actually is made for? Anyone using the chat window, tell me, uh, why Bitcoin? Why Bitcoin actually came into picture at all? What is this one thing which Bitcoin does? Use your chat options, guys. Use your chat options. Tell me why Bitcoin at all? What is that one thing? So every cryptocurrency solves a problem, right? I told you Ethereum makes these smart contracts which are self-executed, self-automated programs. Cardano, on the other hand, is used. It has kind of saved the education system in Ethiopia. What is Bitcoin doing? Why Bitcoin? Think about it. Think about it. Why everybody wants to invest in Bitcoin? Only for the prices going up and down? Okay. Okay. Started getting the answers. Go on, Google search it. This is your time when you will see Bitcoin more as a speculative crypto. Think about it. Why do you need a Bitcoin? Limited supply, okay, but still, why why Bitcoin at all? What was the reason? So, okay, so there is a simple thing that why someone else should control your money. Okay, eliminating. So this is one answer which I was looking for, which a lot of people said also. Uh, Decentralized, eliminating the intermediators, banks, and brokers. Basically, the point is that today, if you have a business cross border and you have to do a payment, you have to do a transaction, that payment, I'm sure a lot of you here, if you're from the business background, or if you have done cross border transfers, cross currency transfers across the borders, you would know that how much time it takes and how much a percentage of the total amount banks charge or these intermediaries charge, and at when it reaches, when the money transfer happens, right? It's a lengthy process and it's an expensive process. Bitcoin was created simply to put an end to this. That if somebody at any part of the world needs money, you can transfer directly without using intermediaries and it will reach immediately. That is why people still get connected to Bitcoin. That the moment Bitcoin gets regulated, this is the major problem Bitcoin is going to solve: cross-border transfer, money transfer solutions. Right now, you know that why Bitcoin is kind of favored a lot. Similarly, Ethereum is like an internet of cryptocurrency, right? So when we see virtual money, cryptographic. So when we talk about decentralized finance also, all the DeFi platforms or decentralized finance platforms, they would work exactly like banks. Instead of lending fiat currency like dollars and pounds, they will borrow and lend cryptocurrencies. So while a decentralized currency exists, decentralized financial exchanges will also continue to exist. And that is why it has started emerging as an interest area for many of the investors. So this is what a Bitcoin is. This is a bit history. I'm sure a lot of you would know how Bitcoin movement from 2008 started. 2010 it jumped. Then altcoins started coming in picture. 2012 we saw, 2013 we saw Bitcoin rising at $1,100. 2014 Mt. Gox, the exchange got hacked. 2015 Bitcoin crashed. Then 2017 it went up to $20,000, and then 2018 it crashed again to 3,000. 2019 it moved. Then we saw major increases. So basically 2021, I should say normally, uh, we saw the time when pandemic happened. So we saw cryptocurrencies going higher during that time. So that was one point where we saw a lot of cryptos gaining momentum 2020, 2021, right? So now cryptocurrencies have reached to a point that it reached to what, 60,000, 69,000. Like if you see the record in November, it reached almost $69,000. Now it is even below 50,000, almost more than 30% down from its peak, right? If we look at, now there are a lot of thought of schools about this. Some of them are thinking, suggesting Bitcoin might go $10,000 in 2022, right? Um, at this point of time, I would always say that what we talk about when we talk about all the cryptocurrencies, be away from the noise. And there is more than one way to invest in cryptos. Because look at historically, to 2018, Bitcoin tumbled around $3,000 after it went up to $20,000. So one thing which we have to get straight, that for those people who think cryptocurrencies will go 100,000, 200,000 believers, it can. But before it goes there, it might crash also, right? Uh, are you capable of holding it till it goes down and not getting panicked, right? So this is something which you have to understand. It's a really, really volatile asset. With Bitcoins, the altcoins also started coming in, and altcoins, as we see, Bitcoin most dominant cryptocurrency when it started. Uh, if you see right now, there are a lot of altcoins which have come into picture, and if you look at the market capitalization at this moment, this was on 27th May. The year you cannot see because my picture is there, but I'll tell you, 27th May 2021. Just look at this, click a picture and see Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, Binance Coin, Cardano. By market cap, these were the highest. By September, like 3 months, Bitcoin market cap increased, Ethereum's also increased, but Cardano replaced Binance Coin, came third, and then Tether. And look at Solana. So if you see 27th May, there was no Solana nowhere, right? But look now, Solana is almost fifth or sixth, and Dogecoin, which was talked a lot about, has come down, right? Same was Uniswap or Chainlink or these. So there is a lot of volatility in the crypto market. It moves a lot. Stable coins have started coming into picture. So stable coins is a form of cryptos which are pegged to either a currency or it is pegged either to a commodity. Some of the coins which you see, USD Tether, a lot of you would know about USD Tether because it's connected to what we can say dollar, for example, right? Then there are some commodity based coins also which are connected with gas, with gold. And when I say connected, which means pegged with the prices. So right now, if let's say USD Tether, for example, is pegged with dollar, if one USD Tether is $1. Why Tether? Why stablecoin at all? Today, if I have Bitcoin in my wallet and I think I want to sell it and book the profit, then I don't have to convert my Bitcoin into actual dollars. I can just convert my Bitcoin into another stable coin called as Tether, and Tether is pegged with dollar, right? There is a lot of argument against USD Tether also, which you should always understand, because a lot of people, a lot of analysts, they still don't know that whether Tether, this pegging of US dollar, whether Tether actually will be able to justify the pegging or not. This is one very important thing, guys, because a lot of people think that Tether is more safe. But as we understand, as a stable coin, uh, at this point of time, I would not recommend you buying it or using it at all. It's not transparent enough, like about the reserves. I will always pay attention to Tether because, again, it is something which is fourth on the market cap. Um, I would always pay attention to it because if Tether collapses, that could actually shake the whole industry, right? Because the price of Tether is pegged uh, to US dollar. Now, if I say that if people decide to liquidate Tether, they should have enough cash to pay, right? If they withdraw their USD Tether, there should be enough cash to pay as dollars. So, what is the dollar reserve? Is there any dollar reserve? There is no transparency, right? Tether holds a lot of its reserves in a unspecified commercial paper form, which is again commercial paper, guys. It's a short-term debt instrument. So there has been a lot of investigation about it, and a lot of people think that Tether is as a stable coin. It's a little shady to look at it as a stable coin to be pegged with dollar. This was not the thinking in the beginning of the year, but now it has started happening. So obviously, you should be more careful when you're looking at these stable coins also. And this was the reason that why cryptos went up. If you see, by the end of 2020, in the beginning of 2021, we saw a lot of institutional trading. So the yellow bar is the institutional trading volume. Why one case which has always against cryptos, that why people continue to buy cryptos, is that now a lot of institutional investment, talk about Tesla, talk about Square Payment, talk about MicroStrategy, talk about um, eBay, for example, supporting crypto. So there's a lot of institutional investment, massive. 2017 there was a lot of retail investment. When 2020 and 2021 we saw a lot of institutions entering, which you see the last bar. So Coinbase reached to one of the highest institutional trading volume, and that was the reason that why cryptos continue to go higher. Now let's understand investing in the crypto market, how you can invest into the crypto market. That's one of the most important things, because a lot of people think that will have e-wallets and will buy cryptos and hold on to it. You can do that. Like, I cannot take company specific names, but you know there are a lot of there. But the point is, one thing about e-wallets which you should understand. Uh, guys, just send me a yes or a okay if you can hear me properly. I think my screen froze for a second, but if you can hear me properly, just send me a yes or a okay. Just want to make sure that these are the last few minutes before we end this session. If you can hear me, just send me. Oh, okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure that, yeah, okay, perfect. So you can always have an e-wallet of yours, crypto exchange of yours, but let's be practical. Uh, Living where we are at this moment, cryptos are not regulated, okay, but crypto movements happen a lot. So a lot of you choose to go with the e-wallet based platform and buy and hold on to the crypto. But look at both sides of it. If cryptos do not get regulated, but you still still increases in value, at any point of time you have to liquidate your positions and take your money out. How you're going to do it? Because the regulation is not here. So obviously, when you take transfers from e-wallets to your banks, there are a lot of questions, because from a compliance point of view, this is something which is a trouble, right? And I'm talking about big amounts. Now, there is another way we look at the cryptos, which is through ETFs also. So there is a actual Bitcoin a fund which got regulated from SEC, which got permission from SEC, and a Bitcoin ETF. It is tracking Bitcoin futures, okay, which is again a little risky for the investors. Which is a little riskier for the investors. Why? Because it is not tracking the Bitcoin spot price, it is tracking the Bitcoin future, and futures have rollovers. So it is the cost part which is more important. But at the end of the day, there is a Bitcoin fund which is available, and I'm going to show you now on the live platform how to do it. Then there are crypto derivatives. Derivatives is very simple. When you use an online trading account, whatever you buy or sell, you don't get ownership of it. These are replicas or derivative products which mimic the actual price of the asset and goes up and down depending on the actual price. So when you buy and sell on a derivative based platform, whether it is a crypto or a stock, it is still a derivative. So basically, you're speculating on the buying and selling. So if you make a profit out of buying any crypto or short selling any crypto, if you make a profit out of it and you want to withdraw, that comes back as an investment in derivative form, right? Which is still regulated, because CFD providers are regulated from FCA, from ASIC, uh, and different regulatory authorities. So a lot of investors go towards derivatives also. And then, last but not the least, you can look at a lot of companies. As I said, if you don't want to invest into NFTs directly, look into these companies which are providing NFT based platforms, right? These are already established companies with earnings. So you can always look at them. Similarly for Bitcoins and cryptos also. Few cryptos. Now, as compared to the regulation, 2022 is not going to be very different from 2021. China still has mining laws. There is still restriction from China to mine cryptocurrencies or trade. And China used to be one of the largest exchanges, so now there is a ban there. Um, US senators have considered new regulation to bolster crypto tax reporting, but still nothing confirmed. It did happen, like SEC did allowed a Bitcoin fund to trade. There is a Bitcoin future contract which is available for trading. So if you want to do a Bitcoin future contract, you can. And there is a Bitcoin derivative also. When it comes to regulation, there is still expectation that the talks will continue. As of now, very little is expected what is going to happen with the crypto regulations in the future, because that is exactly what it is. You can never say that it's going to be regulated, or is it something which is going to happen at the moment. Which cryptos you can watch now? Bitcoin, Ethereum, I feel that you should. So one thing which I like to tell you here before we go to the platform directly and just have a look at this, please eliminate the noise. This is not the year of the meme coins. I'm talking about the Shiba Inus, I'm talking about Squid Game coins, Smooth Love potions, and look at those cryptocurrencies which uh, solves a problem. Like for example, Ethereum, in terms of uh, gas efficiency, in terms of executing the contracts, Solana is coming up, is becoming a better version of Ethereum, which kind of pushed the prices of Solana. But that being said, again, is it going to continue being that? That's the question. So I would tell you to watch Solana closely and look Ethereum as well, because Ethereum has been capable of creating these smart contracts, which is very revolutionary, and it is providing the base work for a lot of other platforms. Bitcoin, as I said. So now I'm going to show you a technological perspective when cryptos fell down. the support and the resistance levels also. So risk of the trading cryptocurrency, of course, if you're trading it as a derivative, there are liquidity issues. Sometimes the liquidity providers, they suspend the trading. It's still unregulated, so we never know. It can always go to zero. If you're using e-wallets, like any other company's e-wallets, it is completely hackable. And again, there is a cost impact. When you buy through derivatives, there is a holding cost. But when you use e-wallets, again, there is a fear of being hacked. And then last but not the least, these are one of the most volatile instruments. Now, understanding the technical perspective of cryptocurrencies is what you should know. And this is the platform which is right here, which you can look at. I hope everybody can see this. So I'm just straight away going to show you last few weeks. So look at Bitcoin, for example. And I'm going to show you the chart mostly. Increase the size of the font. Right, Bitcoin. So if we see in last few days, last few weeks rather, December, look at the Bitcoin price, and this is really important, guys. It started rising from its support point. Okay, let me show you the exact where it is. This is very important. If you're still here, don't go. These are the last 2 minutes, very important. Um, sorry. Yeah, I hope everybody can see the prices here. Okay, still not. Okay, so just look at it. Here, there was a technical support line. So when there are less fundamentals, you look at the technical perspective. Just look at this line. Right. Bitcoin prices started going up from their support levels around $41,000. That's why we see, that's why we say that when you are speculating specifically with these platform providers, if there are ways you can buy through these e-wallets, hold on to it. And then another thing, speculation extremely risky because Bitcoin moves a lot. But when you're speculating, the most important part you should always remember is the entry and exits. Now you can always look at the support and resistance. Look at Bitcoin jumping from that support of 41,000 back to 43, right? Still down for today. Now I will show you a similar thing regarding Ethereum also, since we are talking about it. Okay, look at Ethereum. If you see, there are multiple supports for Ethereum, but if you see one, so this is one. Look at another. This is another right here. Hope everybody can see this. Look at Ethereum bouncing back from their first support around 2,800, just touching there and then bouncing back. If it breaks that support, it could have gone down back to 1,800, which will again produce a decent buying opportunity. So when you're looking at cryptocurrencies from a short term, stick to the technicals. Fundamentals from a very long term perspective, okay, you can buy and hold on to it. But the whole point is through using these CFD based platforms, you can buy also, you can short sell also. If you're expecting cryptos will fall, you can borrow the product from the broker and sell it live in the market. When it comes down, buy cheaper, and that's how you make money from the falling prices. But that being said, if you want to speculate, these platforms allow you to speculate also. But then that is your choice whether to. So there are multiple ways. You can use crypto derivatives, you can use e-wallets, you can use ETFs. So same on this platform, you get Bitcoin ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF right here. So this is the ETF, which you also see has come down with the falling Bitcoin prices. It's priced at $27.25, and you can buy its unit. It was around 44. Right now it is at 27, right? And all those NFT stocks I talked about, right? Funko, for example, you are talking about. Look at these companies. These companies used to be, so when NFT market started going up, look at this. When NFT market started going up, it went all the way to $28. Now they're trading at 18 when the NFT market came down. So you can always check all these stocks, talk to your consultants and see how it works out, right? And that being said, when we talk about the risk part of it, guys, as we say, cryptocurrencies they carry a lot of risk. The outlook for 2022, I would say, stick to the major cryptocurrencies and look at Ethereum more because Ethereum is solving a lot of problems at this moment. Bitcoin is only attractive when it crashes and reaches to the support levels, like what we saw right now. With Ethereum, um, sorry, just 1 second. So with Ethereum, we have seen a lot of developments happening and the prices going higher. So we can always try and look at the technical perspective also before we invest into it. Right, going back to the presentation here. Yeah. And be away from the meme coins. This is what I really want to tell you. Be away from the noise because um, this is something which is really, really important for us to understand. The current noise which is going around Shiba coins and this coin and that coin and every other meme which comes out is you have to be away from it, right? Somebody asked a question that how can we get these dummy accounts? You can get these demo accounts whenever you want. Just talk to your RM who suggested you this session, and they will be able to provide you the demo accounts also. So, guys, this was the session from me. And before you guys go, I want to extend my thanks to everyone or anyone who is connected to the healthcare or the pharma industry or who have friends, relatives who are into the industry of healthcare, midwives, first responders, nurses. Guys are doing an extremely great job, um, risking out your lives and fighting the pandemic and helping everyone out. Uh, on behalf of my team at Century Financial and my family and myself, a big word of thanks to all of them who are involved into the healthcare industry. If you have friends or relatives who are there, or if you are one of them, uh, I can't express more gratitude than this. But thank you so much. I hope the pandemic goes off real soon. But then this is something which we have to live with at this moment. Somebody asked, can we get a recording of the webinar? Yes, this will be recorded. It's already recorded, and it will go on YouTube in a couple of days. But if you have any questions, you can definitely reach me out. My name is Yogesh. And if you want a one-on-one session to understand how to use this platform to invest, what other stocks we can look into, definitely we can look into these stocks. And we can give you more consultation and more expertise about which all of these companies. Right now, this was just a rough draft through like why you could invest into this company. But again, you could look into earnings and we can help you get more and more data to understand whether it's a good idea or not, right? So there's one question about the live accounts. Live accounts are very easy to open. It just takes 2 days if the documentation are okay. Your RM's relationship managers will definitely guide you towards it. So nothing to worry. I would suggest just get one demo account and try to do buying and selling yourself. And all these stocks which I have mentioned about, just try to buy them on your demo accounts, right? Not on your live accounts, on your practice dummy accounts, which is fake plastic accounts. You can always see, or just write it on a piece of paper and track their movement. Nvidia has gone up a lot in last 3 days. If you see, very quickly before you guys leave, just one small chart I wanted to show you. Look at Nvidia prices right now. Look at this chart. It's $272 right now here, and it went up from 200. It went all the way to 346. So it has come down to its, I think, 200-day moving average. And I think this is really, really important because these are the prices from where it normally bounces back, right? So, like this, you can always look at these stocks and we'll be happy to consult you. and any information you need, I'll be available. Uh, if you like this session, if you have any feedback, please go on Google reviews, type Century Financial, and rate us, give a feedback about the session. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you want to improve on it, anything, please go on Google reviews and Century Financial and definitely give us a rating. That really helps us to continue these sessions. First of all, free of cost. These are knowledge awareness sessions, and we'll continue to do this every week with a different topic. So, thank you so much once again. My name is Yogesh, and I wish you a good night and a lot of health and wealth.